Welcome, respected Sadhakas, students of Vedic mathematics. Today, we are going to the original source of Vedic literature to ascertain and to be face to face with the way the knowledge is preserved here. I am taking up one of the sutras of Vibhuti Yoga of Patanjali Yoga Darshan. It is Sutra 26 and it is Bhuvangyanm Surya Sanyamat. Simple translation of it is for knowledge, Jnanam, of dimensional spaces, Bhuvan, meditate Sanyamat upon sun, Surya. For knowledge of dimensional spaces, meditate upon sun is the simple rendering of this sutra. The knowledge of dimensional spaces is the basic knowledge for formatting the organization of the knowledge. Vibhuti Path of Patanjali Yoga Darshan is a scripture of 55 sutras. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with Vedic knowledge, and the way it can be reached at may be through this scripture. Today in this session, we are visiting Sutra 26. Surya is a six-space body. Formulation Surya is of transcendental code value 13. It is parallel with 13th version of hypercube 6. 7 space plays the role of origin of 6 space. 7 space body is of domain boundary ratio a raised to the power 7 is to 14 b raised to the power 6. There are 14 boundary components of 7 space domain. These are 6 space bodies. It is a reach from 6 spaces domain to 6 spaces boundary of 14 components. This is the feature, this is the value, this is the knowledge preserved here in this sutra. The sadhakas shall revisit the setup of hypercube 6. Hypercube 6 is a representative regular body of 6 space in 4 space. It is of domain boundary ratio a raised to power 6 is to 12 b raised to power 5. There are 13 versions of hypercube 6. These are the representative regular bodies of 13 geometries of 6 space. With this feature, we can now take up the formulation Surya itself. The formulation Surya is a composition of 5 letters. The placement values, the transcendental code values of these 5 letters together sum up value 13. That way, value 13 becomes the transcendental code value of formulation Surya. Now, if we chase this formulation for all the 10 folds of the transcendental code value, then as is the tabulation on the computer screen, it will sequentially take us as value 1 for this word, value 2 for the pair of syllables of this word, value 5 for the letters of this formulation, 13 for the transcendental code value of all the 5 letters, and step ahead at the transcendence feature of transcendence through the vowels of this formulation. The reach will be at value 6. One may have a pause here. This value 6 as such being the value of the total transcendence through this formulation, it becomes Surya Ank. Sun has number value 6. One can have a pause here and take note that if we proceed from Earth as the first Panch Mahabhut and sequentially reach from Earth to water, to fire, to air, to space, we have 5 steps for these 5 basic elements, and step ahead, the 6th step is a Surya. So Surya Ank that way becomes the number of steps in which we can have a reach from Earth to the Sun. It is the Sthapatya. It is the geometric formatting. That way, the formulation Surya and our Surya as a body are the features which deserve to be imbibed distinctively. Likewise, if we take up the next 5 steps as on the computer screen, these will sum up the value 555, blissful. This is the number of Brahma Sutra. The Brahma Sutra Vedanta is a scripture of 555 sutras. See the knowledge and enlightenment of Brahma Sutra, the essence of all the Upanishads, is 555. And this is the reach of the formulation Surya for the second half of its transcendence. The value 27 up till the first 5 folds is parallel with the nakshatras, and value 555 is the total value of the essence of all the Upanishads. This way, we can appreciate as to how the Surya as a formulation, Surya as a body, and Surya as phenomenon are being settled mathematically, Vedic mathematically, and as such, sadhakas fulfilled the intensity of virtue to have a knowledge of all dimensional spaces. They have to concentrate upon, they have to meditate upon the Surya and also on the formulation Surya. This meditation, this concentration upon the formulation Surya, when is to be taken as to the domain for the transcendental happening within the domain, for to be parallel with at its nabhi, at its orb, center, origin. Then, as is tabulated on the computer screen, we have to begin with Varn. We know there are 5 letters. Then we have to reach at Ank. We know transcendental code value is 13. Then Sthapatya, geometric format, it is 22. It is hypercube 6. It is the format of this 6-space body. Then Bahir, the external features, there are 12 boundary components. Then Madhya, the middle geometric body, is the 7th body. Then Antrik, the inner scripture, is the summation value of all the 4 folds of hypercube 6 is 22. And sequentially 4, 5, 6, 7 are the values of the 4 folds when Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, and Sayudhya will happen. And ultimately the Swambho. The value here will be 45, means hypercube 22 itself will lead to 45 versions. One shall sit comfortably and be parallel with this reach, which is 4 times 37. And 37 is the value of hypercube 5 a full unit together with hypercube 5 of half unit, which is the placement value of the origin of 6 space. And we know 4 space is playing the role of dimension of a 6 space. So at origin of value 37, for its flow along all the 4 axes of the creative dimensional order of 6 space, the value is 148. One shall sit comfortably and be parallel with these values. And now let us concentrate upon, let us meditate upon the formulation Surya. It is of transcendental code value 13. And as is depicted on the computer screen, the 13 discrete points give rise to 12 gaps. And the transcendental code value of the formulation Sanyam is 25, 13 plus 12, blissful. This is the meditation, concentration upon Surya when we will reach from value 13 to value 25. We know this value 25 is the value of formulation Vishnu, the overlord of 6 space, and hypercube 14 with 12 as the dimension will take us to value 54, which is 27 plus 27. So the Surya Nakshatras and Chandra Nakshatras together for exhaustive coverage of the northern hemisphere as well as of the southern hemisphere. See this blissful knowledge, the way we have to approach this knowledge, way we can be face to face with the knowledge, the way we can imbibe this knowledge, the way we can acquire the knowledge of dimensional spaces. Thank you very much.